We are here today in Indian Trail in North Carolina, and we are at Masterpiece Escape Rooms. And there's a good amount of parking space right outside the escape room. We're gonna check them out. They have a brand new room for us. I think we have to go in to find out.
Welcome everybody, it is Brandon from ESCAPETHEROOMers, bright and early. We are still in the Charlotte area, but we are about to check out Masterpiece Escapes, and I'm with Uriah and Joseph. We're gonna get to know them a little bit better. They are the owners, and here we go. So guys, how many games do you have available to the public right now?
So we have 4 in total currently. Technically we do have 5 rooms, but one of our rooms is shut down for remodeling.
Okay.
We're actually gutting all the puzzles out of it and doing completely new puzzles, just to kind of get it up to par with what the rest of our rooms are. But we do have 5 in total, but 4 available.
Wow, 5 in total.
But that 5th one will be done here in a matter of weeks. So
Right.
Yeah.
sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it'll be back up. So we'll have, 5 is our number that we'll have going forward.
For the holidays, you'll be
Yes.
ready with 5. And I believe we're trying their newest room, which is Wrecked.
Yes.
Okay. So we want to know, which is the most popular room that you have? Like, which is the one that players are booking up the most?
Well, it turns out Missing and Wrecked, which are our 2 scary rooms, tend to get booked the most. People seem to like scary stuff.
Okay.
That probably I would say Wrecked, which our newest room, is our most popular right now because we've got a lot of people that have done all our rooms. They want to come back and do that one.
Right.
And then also people they kind of want to do the new stuff.
Okay. And I believe we're standing in Missing.
We are in Missing right now. We're in the first part of
Okay.
Missing, so you kind of get the idea of the vibe of this one. It's also a creepy vibe going on. So.
Yeah.
And all of our both of our scary rooms, like we go more for like a suspense movie than a hacker movie. So
Okay.
that's kind of the vibe we're going for, is this suspenseful tension.
Oh, I love it. This is more my type of theme. Like, this is what I usually go for. And the next thing we want to ask you guys is, you guys build everything in-house?
Yeah, 100%. Everything that we build is built right here. I mean, occasionally we do make trips to like Joann's and stuff and go, oh, that's a cool box. But as far as like
the little
walls, structure, aesthetic, everything's built here.
Puzzle designs, everything is also
Yeah, we do all of our own
100% of everything.
What is a challenge that you faced while building, creating, implementing that you had to overcome or, figure out?
Oh my God.
We talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
I know there's probably a lot of them, but
People don't make the thing that you want, or the technology is too good sometimes. So for example, if we want like a sound bar to run sound, finding a sound bar that doesn't turn itself off after so long because it needs to run all day is more challenging than you think.
Yeah.
Or if we need to do a specific thing, like for example, drop a thing out of something, people don't necessarily make a product that does that in the way it needs to happen. So we have to figure out how to make that work.
Right.
So that's the most challenging part of design for sure.
Right, so you'll get something and then you have to tweak it to make it work the way you really want it to.
And often what the effect we want to happen in an escape room is the exact opposite of what the world wants. You know what I mean? We want it to fall apart. We want it to do something in particular that most people don't want it to do.
Right.
And the other big challenge, and he's came on this year, but for the past, is getting up to speed and knowledge of stuff is like that you don't know what to look for. That's been the biggest challenge for me, is just the lack of vocabulary, if that's the right term.
Yeah.
Is like you can't Google, how do I make a thing that does a thing with the other thing?
Right.
And that it's just a matter of, and luckily, once I found a few places in the escape room community, that people have been really helpful. It's like, hey, I need a thing that does this, and then they'll just link, oh, you want this $10 product, and I'm like, oh my God, I knew somebody had to make that. I knew I'm not the only one that has this issue, but it's just like getting up to that baseline of knowledge. Just people have been helpful as they can be, but like we're both a little stubborn. It's like I don't want to ask for people because it's not stubbornness. It's like I don't want to impose upon people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I've already asked 3 questions. I don't want to keep bugging these people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and so it's a matter of like, because you're custom making everything. And so there's nobody to turn to when you're like, I want to do this thing nobody's done before.
Right. That's when you start YouTubing everything.
Right.
and
you have to, and it's a sausage. I've got to get a little bit from this YouTube and a little bit from this YouTube and a little bit to this, because everything we do is just a little piece from here and there.
Right.
And even one step further than that, it's kind of difficult to reach out to people and ask them to do the thing that you need. Because even they've never done, like if someone does security systems and wiring and stuff, it's like they have a specific way they do things, and like, we want you to do your job, but not the way you do it.
Right, the way that we want it to be done.
Yeah. So they don't know if they can do it till they get here a lot of times.
Wait, guys, I still have more questions. Wait, hold on.
Why are you?
Sorry, I'm not done. We still have some more questions to answer. All right, so, I felt like I was in there for a couple of years. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was making a deposit or withdrawal.
It happens.
And the door shut. All right, so tell us, what room are we in right now?
This is the Deadwood Saloon. This is actually our hardest room. It is what we call a non-staged experience, which means you go back and forth a lot.
Okay.
And collect a lot of pieces. So that's what makes it our hardest room. It's mostly just hard for new players. Enthusiasts really enjoy this room a lot. So it's the Deadwood Saloon.
It looks really cool. A lot of things to work with. We're only showing you a corner of the room, but there is a lot of stuff in here. So the next thing we want to know is, first of all, congratulations on reopening to the public, getting through the pandemic. What are some of the things you needed to implement to make the customers and the players feel safe and comfortable getting back out there?
Well, right at the very beginning, obviously more cleaning, more masks and everything, and just trying to convey to people, one of the things was this is an activity where you're only with the people you come with. And so when you show up here, you're not going to be around any strangers, only the people you come with. And so that was one of the things. And then that's one of the things that has stuck, actually, is that we're all private rooms now.
Okay.
And so all of our bookings are private, which the pandemic for a lot of businesses has done this same thing where it sped up something that needed to happen anyways.
Yeah.
A lot of friends I know that work in offices, they're never going back to the office, they're working from home.
Yeah.
And the pandemic sped that up by 5 years. Did the same thing, I feel like, for this business, where I feel like this industry was already needed to be heading towards private bookings, and it just got us there a lot faster. So all of our bookings are private now, and we're going to stay that way.
It's funny because we play a lot of games overseas, and they've never heard of public
Exactly.
experiences.
Yeah, over in Europe and in Asia, they're like, what?
Yeah, what, you mix
You're in there
people
with
each
strangers?
other?
Like, that's just weird. And so that's I think, a very good thing, because we had some great... When we had mixed groups, like, it kind of usually the bar got set down to from fantastic to like, that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Pretty fun was like the ceiling. We did have two that I can think of, home runs, and it was the ones that were great were always two couples that got put together. And twice that happened where two couples got put together, didn't know each other, came back a week later together. So we had this little friends matchmaking service going on.
Right.
Those were the only ones where it was ever like, this is a good situation.
Yeah.
But when it was like you two got joined in with the family of 5, that's just a weird dynamic.
Right.
And so
or a bunch of high school kids that are a little bit happy, and then it's like...
So I'm very glad that awkwardness went away. And we were already like right about the fence to be like, you know what, let's just do that as a default anyways, because we had just kind of got busy enough to where that was happening a little bit.
Yeah.
The first couple of years, it wasn't happening much. And then around 2018, 2019, it's like on Saturdays, we're starting to get some mixed groups. And it was always this awkward feeling of like, man, what are these people going to be like when they come in? And then you have to tell the people that didn't expect to be with other people, oh no, you got some other people joining you. So very happy that private bookings is a thing now. We don't even have to worry about it.
Awesome. So since you guys opened, I'm pretty sure you've seen so much on the cameras of what players are doing in the room. We'd like to know if there was something that stood out, like a memorable thing that somebody or some group did on camera in the room.
So I'll keep talking.
Oh, you both can share one.
No, story about this.
This is one of that question sparks one of the things I love about this business, is that we get to be part of people's things.
Yeah.
That we do special occasion stuff. We've done 4 proposals now. We've done several, people that one of their friends is going away and they do a little going away present. and where it's like we add a puzzle at the end, or some of our rooms, like instead of getting out the last door, you're finding a thing. And so the very finale, they've got this little collage that they made for that person.
Right.
And the two most memorable for me was one, there was a guy that him and his wife love escape rooms, and so he came here, and it was this very room actually that he planned like 4 or 5 puzzles that he replaced in here for their anniversary.
Oh wow!
And it was so funny because she did a couple, and then like when they found a guitar and it was like you have to sing a song, the jig was kind of up, but she knew that he had done that, but she didn't care. It was just really awesome, this really cool special thing. And the other one is we had a Christmas room, and we kept it open for year round. And this girl was celebrating her 40th birthday, and her best friend couldn't make it.
Oh,
as far as she knew.
Right.
And so, but unbeknownst to her, last minute her friend got free and drove all the way up from Florida.
Oh, wow.
And surprised her. And so as the Christmas room, we had this big box, and we stuck her in the box and wrapped it up. And so she opened that up, and her friend pops out, and it was just, they were both crying, and it was just this really cool. So like being able to be part of that.
Right. Wait a second. So was the friend stuck in there for 60 minutes?
No, it was like the first thing they did.
Okay,
it was just in the first room. It was like, open me to get started.
Oh, okay. I was like, you guys kept her in there for the whole hour.
No. But the funny ones about the proposals is like, they get to the end, and then like it's funny because everybody else is in on it, and so it's like when you drop water, so oil or something in water, and everything spreads out. It was like everybody else got away from it because they knew what was going on.
Yeah. And
she picks the thing up, and then whatever happens. She's trying to solve a puzzle, and then it takes a second for this moment of realization of like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. So it's this really cool moment.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Oh, I was just going to say, to build on that, I have a really funny story. This is a completely different direction, but one of the things that you notice when you're watching rooms is psychology is a huge part of it, and you get to see the way people think and act in the rooms, and it's so funny when they get in their own head and they don't realize. People always ask, are you back there laughing at us? It's like, most of the time, no. It's not. We're not laughing at you. We're laughing at the stuff you say, because we're rooting for you. We want you to have fun.
Right.
We had this one guy, there's first, second, third, fourth is part of one of our puzzles in one of our rooms, and he was reading the word second, but it was SECOND, kind of spaced out, and he didn't know what he was reading, and he was just staring at it, and then he looks up and looks at his friend and goes, "What is second?" And I'm dying in the control room, and I had to get on the mic and be like, I think that's second, because he just got way in his head about it.
Yeah,
and it was just really funny. It was like, he was immediately like, I'm an idiot. What he was doing. It was just really funny.
He was just sounding it out.
It's just one of those things that you notice as a game master. You start to realize how when people get stuck in this one thing, it's so difficult for them to pull themselves out, and so that's really what we are as game masters. We're just kind of like, hey, reset, start over. That's all you really need to do. But that's just my funny story.
Yeah, no, that's hilarious. We love that. All right, gentlemen. So which room are we in right now?
So this is Metro Mayhem. This is the first room we ever built.
Oh, okay.
And this is the room that we always point our new players to, because this room is kind of conditioned. All the puzzles are set in a way that it kind of teaches you how to do puzzles. They're still challenging, but it is a more smooth experience for new players. There's not any leaps of logic that they have.
Plus, without giving anything away, this kind of has a lot of the things that you want in an escape room.
Okay.
Like, so without giving too much away, it's like a lot of the things that you kind of think might be cliched, but like it's as a new player, you're like, oh wow, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Right. So it kind of eases you into the world of escape rooms.
But this also is, this isn't an easy room by chance. We don't want to experience failures thinking like, oh, that's a beginner room. This isn't a beginner room.
Right.
It's the best room for a new player.
Yes.
Okay. It sounds like you guys play a lot of escape rooms too, or you've played escape rooms.
A handful, but not as many as most owners, to be honest.
It's funny. You would think that people who run escape rooms go and play a bunch of escape rooms.
You don't have time.
Well, you don't have time, and the other thing is like sometimes you almost don't want to, because like if you have a vision for what you think you want your escape room to be, you don't want to necessarily poison the well by being like going to other places and going, well, they did it this way. Like you almost want to do it kind of blind and see what you come up with. That's kind of how innovation happens.
Instead of being influenced by stuff that
Correct,
you've
yeah.
seen.
So that's kind of where we are, I think.
Were there any that stood out for you? It doesn't have to be your favorite, but if you want to give a shout out to another company and their game, and if you have separate ones, even better, what would that be?
I know what.
Go ahead.
Mine is Depth that timed out.
Depth that timed out?
That
All right,
timed
we
out.
were there
So,
yesterday. Yeah.
Did you do Depth?
We needed 4 people, so it was just 2 of us.
So that is a difficulty with that room, but if you do have 4 people, that room is really interesting because they split you up, obviously, and it's one on each side, and you communicating that you can't see each other, so you're passing information back and forth, which is very difficult for new players, but enthusiasts love that type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Experienced escape room players really like that. So once you do that, you meet into a centralized chamber, and then it's a free for all at that point. It's like, what did you have in your side? What did you have in your side? So it's really cool. You just get this information dump. So
Right.
if you like escape rooms, it's a really cool.
Yeah, we love cooperative games. It's part of the reason why I think escape rooms are so important. It builds communication, allows you to be creative in the way that you deliver information as well. Uriah?
I got a couple.
Oh yeah, sure.
Timed Out, I mean, they're great people and love them, and they're kind of the most similar, especially in this area. And to
They
us
said
in
the
terms
same
of-
thing about you.
in terms of design philosophy and how the experience we want people to have. And so we obviously try to send people back and forth because they're going to get pretty similar experience in terms of game flow and everything. A couple of places around town that I really like is the Box. They provide a very unique experience in a couple of ways. Like
Okay.
you're in the experience interacting with character from the time you walk in the building. And so it's a very unique, they pay attention to detail really great. And so people that have played a lot of escape rooms will really appreciate all the little things that they do.
Right. Is that the company?
It's called The Box, yes.
Is there a game in particular that you really like there?
Predestined probably I like best.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
And
I was
then
gonna say that.
the other one around town that I like is the Valhalla Missions.
Yeah.
And
Branding there later.
They're really cool.
I like to say steak and lobster with us.
Okay.
And so I am a strong believer of having a mix and having there's just opening a lock is cool with your hands.
Yeah.
But they're all tech. And so it's like they provide a very different experience than you're going to get here, but it's just like lobster is very different than steak.
Right.
And so I think people have a great time there, but I like them as a different thing because like we want all of our rooms to be different.
Yeah.
And their rooms are all on the same story.
Right.
And so, like I said, it's a steak and lobster type of situation that they're different than us in terms of a lot of design ideas, but we had a great time there, and I would happily send anybody there. So it's a unique. That's what I like about escape rooms is that it's like restaurants.
Right.
Is that we can go eat Mexican one day and Thai the next day, and they're very different foods, but like them both the same.
Right. And if you were to send people over there, which room would you say you have to try this one?
Both of them were pretty similar to me. Like I didn't like one way more than the other one.
Right. So all the two games that they have there.
Yeah, and they're working on. I'm excited for the third one. So
Awesome. And we have one last question for you because we want to get to know the both of you a little bit better. What's something that most people do not know about you outside of this escape room life?
So, I'll make this short. I've grown up a lot in the past few years, so I don't look like it, but I'm a dork at heart. So I play a lot of D&D, a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm usually the DM for my group, the Dungeon Master, which means your job as a Dungeon Master is basically to guide people through the game. So there's a lot of homebrewing, a lot of preparation, a lot of that kind of stuff, which is funny because before I worked here, I would have never known that, but it's a huge parallel because it's like being a game master is basically being a Dungeon Master. But the difference is you're playing a module when you're playing. If you play D&D, you know what I mean. You're playing a module when you play an escape room, not a homebrew content. So there are guidelines, and you just have to kind of get them to the main points. But having that experience as a dungeon master is extremely helpful in this because it's how do I get my players to do a specific thing that they need to do to progress,
Right. Without being so obvious,
without just beating them over the head with it because that's no fun for them. And it's helped more than I thought it would.
Okay.
So that's mine.
Okay.
I think we decided the most interesting thing that people don't know about me is that I used to play poker for a living.
Oh, okay.
Or gambling in general. To use the term gambling loosely because when you're doing playing poker and other games like that, you're not gambling. You're playing with an advantage.
Yeah.
In theory, and so. Amarillo Slim has a famous saying about poker that it's a hard way to make an easy living.
Yeah.
And that when there's something that is fun you do, but then you do it for a living, it just becomes a grind.
Yeah.
And it's just it just became it just wasn't an enjoyable way for me to spend my life anymore. Because this was back when online poker was big in America, and it was just get up, stare at a screen for 8-10 hours.
Well, it's kind of like what you're doing now.
Just watch some numbers. No, it was just watch these numbers change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just and it was completely robotic. You just make the same decisions over and over and over and over. If you're playing poker with your buddies, it's fun.
Yeah.
But when it becomes a living, it's just purely scientific. It's just I make this same decision every time in this situation. And it was just this completely robotic situation where it was just this isn't fun anymore.
Right, yeah.
And then the decision kind of got made for me when all that, if anybody's followed online poker, it got kind of crashed or whatever, and I got away from it. and decided I want to interact with human beings instead.
Yeah.
They were human beings on the other side of it, but it was just a screen name. You know what I mean?
It's kind of it becomes repetitive. Becomes like being on a hamster wheel and
this and back to one of our other answers. This is I like this business because you get to interact with people, and everybody's happy when they come here. And even when you're playing poker live, I mean, like it's a zero-sum game. That for me to win, you have to lose.
Yeah.
And so it's like my coworkers or my customers, however you want to look at them, like both of us can't be happy at the same time. But when people come here, we're happy that they came because we're a business, and they're happy they came because they had a good time. So it's a much situation. More personally fulfilling thing than just like sitting down there watching numbers change.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, hey, guys, thank you so much for answering our 6 questions. We really appreciate it. You guys need to check out our website, ESCAPETHEROOMers.com, for our review on the game we're about to play, which is Wrecked. And also, do not forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel because we're giving you sneak previews of the lobby, the parking lot, the what to expect when you get here. And we're going to give you a sneak peek of Wrecked right now. Check it out.
Left for me to move. Time is running out, gotta figure something out.